think it's important to get a client to talk through and explain it. So, Helen.
Thank you, Rupert. Yes, it's working. Well done. Thank you. Good afternoon. It's lovely to be here. And hopefully I can just share with you some of my experience and why I find this piece of software quite so exciting. I personally haven't seen anything like it. I'm familiar with lots of HR and payroll systems, which often allow me to report, and Rupert there talked about reporting. But this for me is about modelling and lots of what if and being able to look at the organisation in a very different way. So I'll try and go through that very quickly with you, and then we'll hopefully have some time for questions. Briefly, what I want to do, if it's working, is just to give you a little bit of a context. It's always a nice opportunity to talk to people about local government and what's going on in Wakefield Council. Just so you're aware, we cover a district of about just over 350 square miles. I should have to make it into metres. We've got over 500,000 citizens. And we're one of the 12 largest cities in England and Wales. And we've got a huge record of efficiency, delivery and innovation. And in fact, only recently we were shortlisted for Council of the Year. Unfortunately, we did not win, but next time. In terms of staff, we employ 13,000 staff across a whole range of services. And I think that's important just to explain how a council works. I've got a background in private sector, and I was used to 30,000 staff globally and this, that and the other, but it's been a very interesting journey for me to move into local government and public sector, so worth just sharing a bit of learning on that. Local authorities, I think, are quite unique. They're exceedingly diverse, they're exceedingly complex, and in some ways they're also they have some very clear principles about public service and so on. They obviously have a political dimension. That's both national, which you'll hear about a lot, and also local, which is why we have elections coming up on May the 5th. And I think the other interesting thing for me, and it's useful having listened today about engagement, is that employees are also citizens. Generally, people who work for a local authority are from that area. They live there, their families are brought up there, their children go to the schools. So they are not only employees, they are also the customer. And I think I'm not going to talk today about customer satisfaction and the link to employee satisfaction, but it's just worth sharing that. And we're always very conscious of that. We do work as one council and one organisation, but the reason for sharing with you a picture of a coral reef is that the best analogy I can give for how a local authority works, because of the diversity and the complexity, is that it is like a coral reef. We have such a range of services, from waste services, collecting the refuse or cleaning the streets, right through to social care, looking after vulnerable people, children, schools, older people, whatever it may be, working with a huge range of partners. So we have this whole range from being very supportive, caring, and so on, as public sector is often seen, but we also have an enforcement role. So parking tickets, planning controls, a whole range of things. And that really brings a whole different range of professions together with different people with very different perspectives on what they are there for. So when we talk about accountabilities and responsibilities, being able to share that and understand that context is really important. So, local government, public sector as a whole, and often we're classed as one homogenous lump, is facing some serious tough challenges at the moment, as you'll be aware of from the media. For us in Wakefield, we're looking at a 20% budget cut over the next 4 years. Most of that's front-loaded, so we've just had to identify best part of 20 million, and I'm sad to say that that means we're already, from this time last year, we'll have reduced our headcount by 500, and that's my day job, and it's not particularly pleasant, but so we have that. But we've also been looking at management structures, and we've reduced our management structure by about 28%, and that's going to give us some interesting challenges going forward, especially again if you think about engagement, when those managers themselves aren't feeling very engaged. But how do we structure the organisation? How do we design our structures, our processes, to enable us to continue to deliver the services to the best that we can? So there's a whole amount of change just coming from the financial picture. But there's also the bigger context, and again, the localism bill, big society, the new agenda from this government, and it changes obviously every time the government changes. So I think it potentially looks like we're at a time of dieting, to use your analogy, but actually the big challenge for me in my role and where I see OrgVue helping us to do it is about delivering in different ways. It's about making sure that the organisation is fit for the future. Now, that might be lean, but it might actually just mean we can move differently, or we can do different exercises or different services.